threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
It's going to get real confusing.
Dude, yeah. Welcome to the nerdery with your nerds.
And with he who can't explain anything, I'm going to teach you quantum mechanics.
I was really close to like switching it so that I got that part, and I'm like, hell no. I'm going to let him do it. I'm going to let Cam do that. Yeah,
do
but
it simple.
The future of survival rolls on.
Yes, it does.
You know?
And we're going to talk about the quantum survival plan.
Yeah.
Quantum's thrown around like crazy nowadays. You know, my TV has quantum, but it's not what you think.
I got an iPhone 14 with quantum texting. Yeah.
It's a cool word.
Yeah.
But it's a terrifying word if you think about it. And we're going to explain why. Because my biggest fear, and it has been for a long time, but this just magnifies the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is at some point, hackers are going to figure out how to use quantum mechanics, quantum computing, and you will lose everything.
All of it.
Everything.
All the stuff.
You won't even exist, basically.
Facebook
digitally.
profile's gone.
Yeah. All your friends, zero.
Zero friends.
5 to 0.
Yeah.
But yeah, there have been milestones recently, and that's why we wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
December 2024, so just recently.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Google unveiled Willow, a 105 qubit quantum processor. It doesn't make any sense, I know. That slashed error rates as it scaled up and completed a benchmark task in under 5 minutes. That sounds like, well, that's pretty fast.
I could do that in 5 minutes.
Problem that would take today's fastest supercomputer about 10 septillion years to solve.
That doesn't even, that's like so
That's
ridiculous.
how incredibly fast a quantum computer can calculate.
And it's like, it's so hard to comprehend this because it's not faster at everything.
No.
It's not better at everything. It's just better at certain tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even, I'm going to explain this dumbed down as possible for even like me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still just as hard to grasp.
I know.
Because it's like, how does this even happen? How can it even be this? But anyways,
yeah.
But why are we talking about it today? Because we rely on everything digital nowadays.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of give you a heads up of like, yeah, you think your digital stuff is insecure now? Well, you just wait.
Just wait.
Quantum era is going to really change things. So we hope our government and other things are advancing enough to protect us with their quantum defense mechanisms. But who knows? So we're just going to talk about ways to...
I hold my breath for that.
Where the risks are and maybe how we can counter some of that.
Yeah. One way you can counter is with BattleBox. Because it has all the cool stuff to counter pretty much everything. Quantum knives.
Quantum
fire
knives.
starters. Yeah, all that stuff. BattleBox is the monthly subscription box full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. The FlexTel Max Shower and the Pura Bag Bladder. All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners get 15% off when you sign up at battlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first BattleBox and 15% off at battlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Seems like it's like the geriatric medical box. You get a shower and a bladder.
It does seem like that. But it actually is useful stuff.
It's cool stuff. Stuff I hadn't seen.
All right, so let's look just to kind of give you a sense of how close we are to this massive quantum storm hitting your house. How close is that? Most experts are eyeing 2027 to 2030 as the window when quantum computers could really start cracking real-world encryption. And I don't know if we actually specifically said encryption, because that's where really quantum is going to shine.
I didn't say that.
Is encryption. Like, that's the number one thing. So this is not like some distant sci-fi future. Like, that's a few years away. Like, we're here. We're at it right now. They're using quantum computers for a lot of different things right now. But the thing that's really scary is the encryption breaking that this stuff can do.
Our biggest defense for our digital information is like gonna be wiped out.
Gone. So like that's the point where all those digital locks that we rely on, like your bank accounts, your crypto wallets, your medical records, all that stuff could just be busted wide open. So the window to get ahead of this stuff is actually shrinking. It's shrinking really fast. So if we wait till quantum hits the headlines, it's probably going to be too late. That's why we're here today talking about it, so you understand it.
Yeah.
And Cam's going to help you understand it right now.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So, just some quick basics of quantum computing.
Yeah.
You're not going to figure it out after I talk to you.
Yeah.
But listen, so we use computers, all of our information, all of our digital devices are basic computer systems, and they use bits. So you think of bits, the 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, it's a definite state of on or off.
Yeah.
So like a single coin that's either heads or tails. Straightforward that way. It's even, those are still complicated in themselves, but that's how they work.
It's a 1 or a 0.
It's a 1 or a 0.
It's a binary thing, right?
Now, qubits, it becomes a lot more complicated. So think of them as having the probability of being a 0 or a 1 at the same time. It's like a coin that's spinning in the air constantly. It's neither heads nor tails, but it can be one or the other. But the qubit exists in a combination of both states until it's measured. So it kind of gives it a ton of flexibility.
This is really, every time I think of this, I think of the Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, that's
scenario.
I actually Googled that again because that's exactly what it is.
It's exactly what it is. So the cat in the box is dead and alive until you open up the box.
You don't know what it is until you open it, and then it's that state. So that's what makes this so incredibly useful. Is that it's not bound by off and on.
Which is, how do you even fathom that?
I don't know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Even though that kind of clarifies it, it's still confusing.
But that's quantum mechanics. That's
quantum
the
mechanics.
weird crap that's happening in quantum mechanics.
I can't even believe we've discovered and figured it out at all.
I know.
I don't understand.
It's crazy.
So, but yeah, in an easier way, imagine a regular computer bit like a light switch. It can be either on, representing 1, or 0. That's one state at a time. Now, a qubit, a fundamental building block of quantum computer, instead of just being fully on or off, it can be on and off at the same time. Like you said, until you look at it, it's off or on until you see it becomes what it needs to be. Both at once. Another crucial, and so I need to make that point of that key word of quantum, of the quantum computing is superposition. So it's both at once. And that's kind of how it functions. Another crucial concept of quantum computing is, again, with the coins, imagining two of our spinning coins and they are entangled, their fates are linked. If one lands on heads, you instantly know the other will land on tails, no matter how far apart they are. Qubits can also be entangled, meaning their quantum states are correlated. Measuring the state of one entangled qubit instantly tells you something about the state of the other in an entirely different location too. That's the other thing with communications and stuff. So
yeah, that's called entanglement. That's quantum entanglement, basically, and that's like the thing that
superposition and entanglement are key words.
Yeah. And the entanglement is what it was Einstein called spooky action at a distance.
Yeah,
because it doesn't make any sense. Like, these particles can be entangled forever away, and it doesn't matter if one's spinning left, the other one's spinning right.
Yeah.
And they don't know they're spinning until you measure them, and then they're always spinning the side. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but it's
crazy.
Equal, yeah. The opposites and that's why it defies time and space and everything. And so a lot of possibilities with this.
Yeah, it's faster than light because it's instantaneous, right? Yeah.
It's a mirror. It's really weird. But anyways, so yeah, the thing, and thinking of it in how it can do things, a regular computer, take a maze for an example, it will find the best route in a maze, a regular computer, when it tries each and every path individually, one after another. Quantum computer can explore them all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so why is that a big deal? Because regular computers process information sequentially, one bit at a time. Quantum computers, using qubits in a superposition and entanglement, can perform many calculations simultaneously. Unlike regular computers, that process the information slowly one at a time, sequentially. Quantum computing can leverage superposition and entanglement. Like I said, that's kind of redundant. Sorry, but the thing is, when you have this complex security code, password, millions of alphanumeric and symbol combinations, it can figure it out because it can work on all of the possibilities at once.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what we're getting at. Like, it's so weird that it can do that, and it doesn't have the limitations of just basic computing.
Like normal computers trying to code
it'll have
break
to keep trying over and over, and it take a long time. Where
it'll take like 10,000 years.
It can do it all.
Yeah.
It can try every combination at once. So it's scary. So who's building it? Who's working on it? There's big tech companies, obviously, major players like IBM, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Intel, NVIDIA. They're all investing heavily on building their own quantum hardware and software. It's a huge future, right? So they're spending a lot of money. There's also little smaller companies that are kind of involved in building on their own and for these other companies like Ionic, Rigetti, D-Wave, Quantinuum. And so you should check those out and kind of read about what they do and what the possibilities are.
They all have a little bit different specialties.
Yeah, in that whole world of developing.
But they're actually like commercial. They're using their services for other companies that are actually using it.
Yeah, we've been kind of interested in following and investing. Right now sucks, but
it's not great now.
Universities, obviously, top research universities around the world are crucial and fundamental at studying the science and early development of quantum computing. There's a lot of possibilities with it.
Yeah.
But the government aspect is where it gets a little bit creepy. So, obviously, just like, you have to think of it like the nuclear arms race and supremacy. There's so much power and ability with quantum computing that obviously you don't want to fall behind.
No.
So there's a race. And the U.S. approach is to studying and learning about this and developing it is kind of spread out, but it's under the umbrella of the National Quantum Initiative, NQI, which involves the DOE, the NSF, the DOD, the NIST, which is National Institute of Standard and Technology. NIST. The U.S. government has invested $3 billion plus in quantum research through the National Quantum Initiative. What's that? The whole computer system, isn't it like $15 billion or something?
I don't know, man.
So a lot. But we haven't invested as much as China.
Nope.
China's Misseus, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, Misseus.
Satellite program launched in 2016 is pioneering effort to establish a quantum communications network using space-based quantum entanglement to achieve secure long-distance communication. So like we were saying with entanglement, it's like it's an instantaneous.
Yeah.
It can move information like
that
because it's in two places at once. This is so weird. Named after an ancient Chinese philosopher is where they got that. But China is not just participating in quantum race. It's leading in terms of government spending with over $15 billion invested. The country has built a strong foundation in quantum communications. So we're kind of falling behind there.
Yeah, somewhat.
And everybody's racing for it. So in North Korea, it just bought its first laptop this year, discontinuing its handspring and Palm Pilots.
I heard that Kim Jong-un, he saw the Dell commercial. He was excited about it. He's like, dude, we're getting a Dell. You remember that one? Yeah.
So it's like,
dude, we're getting a Dell. Yeah.
Oh, what the hell? But yeah, but it's kind of like insane how, like, I do feel like this is at the level of almost like nuclear, like arms race. It's like
we don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know,
right?
So there are some learning resources that you can use to kind of learn a little more about this. So NISTs that
you got to be real nerdy to want to learn more.
Quantum cryptography standards. We're going to talk more about cryptography because that's kind of that's a big deal. MIT's free quantum bits. Not qubits. I don't know why it says quantum bits.
That's what it's called.
And then YouTube channel Quantum Frontiers. I haven't looked at that one.
Me either.
But there's some places you can go and check it out and start learning a little bit about what the future might bring with quantum technology. You should, honestly.
Yeah, you should. You need to understand it because...
you don't need to understand the physics of it, but you can know where it's leading to, where your protection, your vulnerabilities, all that stuff.
And that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Perfect.
Like, what is the real danger here? Because it's not just like really fast computers. Like people can play,
oh, that'd be great.
Whatever as fast as they want.
Red Dead load in a second.
Yeah. The biggest thing to me is encryption breaks, right? Because encryption is like the backbone of everything we do, basically. Everything. Your bank info, crypto wallets, messages, medical records, all of that stuff is locked up behind these algorithms, these encryptions that, like, right now, it would literally take thousands of years to crack with a regular computer. But like we mentioned with quantum, it's minutes. Like, it really doesn't take very long. Like, you know, a couple of years ago, LastPass had that big breach. I don't know. It was in 2022.
I do remember that.
It's a while ago. Attackers got millions of encrypted vaults, but because of the encryption inside of that, which is the AES 256,
forever for them to actually do anything with it.
They couldn't. They didn't get what was in there. So, like, that would have been like master passwords and all that stuff. None of it was exposed because the encryption was so good inside. In a post-quantum world, that's all gone.
Yeah.
Like, that
they
is
will
out
figure
the
out
window.
it instantly.
They'll get it. So, like, imagine that same breach happening after quantum hits the scene. Now, all that stuff is leaked. Passwords, pins, everything is kind of up for grabs. So, what do we worry about first? For the first thing I think about is banks, the banking credentials, your login info, your routing numbers. Everything is connected to your money. It's all
like
digital.
All of it.
Yeah, that's real bad. A lot of people love crypto because it's so safe. Not so much once possible.
And that's
I'm not saying for sure.
Because it always seemed like that was like, forever unbreakable.
Unbreakable. They're saying this becomes vulnerable in the future with
Good thing I don't have one.
quantums. Yeah, you can take mine. It's not a big deal. And then just personal identity stuff, emails, health records, tax info, all that stuff is just up for grabs. You can't hide it from a quantum computer, unfortunately.
But I say that on the crypto thing of like, oh, good, I don't really have very much. But so many corporations and everybody are incorporated. Like, you may be paying in crypto for a lot of things.
Exactly.
So you have no choice but to have it.
Well, you might have stocks in companies that have holdings in crypto.
True.
You know, like
That's
all
true.
that
Yeah,
stuff
that's
is
true.
a real thing. So let's talk about some of the cyber and the financial mayhem that this could cause, because you could have crypto exchanges just crash. Coinbase could just be gone like that. What happens if that happens? Really? Like, if quantum breaks, blockchain defenses and Bitcoin and other cryptos could basically tank overnight, could just be
A lot
gone.
of suicides.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Exchanges, they'd probably freeze them all. Wallets would be drained. And now,
That's so scary.
Nobody trusts the system. Nobody. It's gone. Like, what happens when nobody trusts the crypto system or the banking system or anything? Like, I don't even know what to expect.
I don't know
there.
either, because it's such a different scenario. It's like everything's still okay. Like, you can drive a car, you can go to work, but it's like your finances mean nothing.
Yeah.
They're gone.
They're gone.
And you can't put it anywhere. You can't pay anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's
that
so
would-
weird. And now you'll have financial institutions really could be forced into emergency upgrades, because there is some light on the horizon. There are some ways to counteract some of this, and we're going to talk about that. But they're going to have to be forced into like emergency upgrades, rushing to move everything to quantum-proof encryption. But can you imagine the chaos in the interim? Like, while they're trying to do that stuff, your accounts could get locked. You could have delayed transactions, like runs on the bank. All the stuff that we think about in a financial collapse could basically be happening because nobody trusts it anymore. That's the crazy thing here. So again, old school defenses, they're not going to cut it anymore in the quantum world, unfortunately. Pretty scary.
Yeah,
when you
it's
look
terrifying.
at it, for sure. You know what else is terrifying? Electrolyte deficiencies. Because you know what? They cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, weakness, all those things. And as people want to be prepared and ready for anything, the last thing you need is something that will slow you down when you need to be ready the most. That's why we at Casual Preppers have teamed up with Element. It is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. We think it's perfect for bug out bags and EDC kits because it contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. Casual Preppers listeners can get a free Element sample pack when you make any purchase through our exclusive Casual Preppers link. That is one packet of every flavor every single time you use the link to order, you guys. Not the first time, every single time. But you got to go to our link, which is drinkelement.com/casualpreppers. Get your first order, your free sample pack with any purchase. That is drinklmnt.com/casualpreppers. We mentioned it last week. The new flavor is fire. It is what the kids call fire. Straight up fire. Lemonade.
It's bussin'.
Bussin'. Yeah. That. So go get it.
That my kids use that one. So I was like, what are you saying?
What are you saying?
So we're going to use it. But yeah, okay. So what we would call this nightmare that you've explained would be the quantum apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that would happen because of this.
Yeah.
So like I was mentioning, the quantum arms race, it's a big deal because you want to have both protection from it. So you have technology to counter whatever could be thrown at you. Also, the technology to support the system that can be used going forward. So the first nation or agency with true supremacy could crack any military code. That's a terrifying thought of like all of our, IBCMs and nuclear launch.
ICBMs too.
ICBMs. That's a different one.
That's a different guy. Okay.
I don't know why I got that all stirred
IBCM.
up. IBMCCDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like launch codes, global surveillance is another thing. It's like all of those devices that connect to cameras and things like that are security cameras. They're all encrypted, but if that's all open and accessible, it's like anyone anywhere can spy on you.
Yeah, I mean,
more than they do already.
Yeah.
That's pretty creepy. And then you talked about like data breaches. Previously secured data, including sensitive personal information, financial records, trade secrets, government intelligence, all of that is exposed. I mean, this is as naked as you possibly could be.
I don't like being naked.
Everything available everywhere, like or just deleted. Financial instability, cryptocurrencies, traditional banking systems rely on current encryption. They could be compromised. So investments and other financial strategies are just wiped out. The other thing is like the effect on like our power grid and transportation and communication networks are all done digitally and secured under, these encryptions. When that's all cracked open, like
think about if China gets access to anything they
turn
want.
off and on everything.
Yeah.
Like it could just
turn all our lights to green.
Middle of the night, you can be woken up because all your house lights turned on, all your smart lights.
Yeah.
Alarm systems, but like transit systems, delivering goods, planes, boats, shipping, all of that could just stop because of this.
None of it can run without these systems. Yeah. None of it.
And if anybody, like any other government has access to all of it, that is just terrifying.
Yeah.
That's why we're racing to be the ones to be able to do that. I know.
We need to spend more money, apparently.
Right. And then there's obviously an erosion of trust. The foundation of digital security would be undermined, leading to widespread chaos and loss of trust in online systems. Like, how do you get back online? How do you become a non-digital world?
You don't.
As we are right now. It's like, how do you go back?
You don't.
You can't go back. So how do you become a new digitalized world with supposed security? It's like it just it's a dead end.
I mean, we're going to talk about it. There are some ways, like there's things going on.
They're working on, right?
They're working on, but you need to understand.
But you have to think about how big of a collapse this would be.
Yes.
Other like specific scenarios that are pretty scary. Like I mentioned, just like the power grid thing, but a quantum trigger, attackers use a quantum computer to reverse engineer and overload the grid's protective relay algorithms in milliseconds.
Oh my gosh.
So all your transformers that are built that take months to build have just been all fried.
In China, by the way.
So they just create a power surge and black out everything. And to get back online, years. And so you can understand the chaos from that.
Yeah.
Backup generators are also connected to that system. They're fried. Chaos ensues at hospitals, water treatment plants, communications. Everything goes dark, man. It would be terrifying.
It's as good
like your EMP scenario.
It's as good as an EMP at that point.
But it was even simpler.
Yeah.
Like no
device needed.
There's no like, oh, there's a missile coming. Could it be a nuke? Like it's just all of a sudden a light switch. Everything turns off.
Baby.
And then you get the terrifying false nuclear launch.
Ooh.
Like if it controls the system, the emergency alert system or anything like that, it can just wreak havoc on that. And you don't know what's real and what's happening. And it could very well just be happening too because they have all the launch codes.
I know.
Anyways, terrifying stuff. And then obviously the global financial crash within minutes, quantum computer factors, the RSA keys protecting major interbank settlement systems and stock exchange ledgers.
Yeah, what if the stock exchange just goes down?
Done.
All that
never in
information's
history
gone.
ever has the stock market had anything like that happen.
Man.
So I don't even know how the world would deal with that.
I don't either.
Because everybody's connected, right?
Yeah.
Ugh, scary stuff. Weaponized drone swarms. This is even cooler, but scarier.
Yeah.
So, like pinpoint accuracy of delivery drones, commercial, drones that people have personally. They just all go wacko and start crashing into power lines or buildings or attacking people. You never know. They basically can control any of that. That's all done through a digital system, GPS system or whatever. So the exact timeline for when quantum computers will pose a significant threat to current encryption is uncertain, but it's happening so fast.
It is.
Like the development, the breakthroughs. So it's not far off. And some experts believe that it could be within the next decade, like you were saying.
Yep.
That's terrifying. So if you are a young listener, or if you have kids, maybe consider learning, learning this stuff yourself, but also increasing their interest in it so that they understand like these risks and stuff. It's just something that I was thinking about with my kids of ongoing, like their future, different jobs, opportunities. It's like, this is a big market and like you could very well help them be cautious about it, but also understand that they could be part of helping the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, and in like this thing, it's really similar to the AI situation where just some people are so dead set against it. And I understand the trepidation with, this type of stuff. But the more you understand it, the better off you're going to be whichever way it goes.
Yeah.
Because all this quantum stuff, there are some great things that could come from it. It's not all just doom and gloom. Like there's stuff that like they're using this that get like really great shipping routes and that stuff like you couldn't figure out with regular there's stuff that's amazing.
Instantaneous delivery of information. Without it's just crazy.
There's great stuff. So the more you understand it, the better off you are if it's great or if it's horrible.
Yeah.
So
do you remember the names I read? IBM, Amazon, Google, everything that we use daily is involved in this. So to ignore it is foolish.
Yeah, it really is. And then it comes to the part what can we actually do about this? Right? It kind of does feel a little bit like it's out of our hands.
It kind of does.
What am I going to do about it?
Helpless.
I can only do so much. But there are some of the things that we talk about pretty frequently that you can do. Post-quantum cryptography. This is the big one. The National Institute of Standards and Technology has already started rolling out quantum-resistant algorithms. So this is what I was talking about, where there is stuff that's coming on. So this stuff is designed to stand up even when
quantum. So they're using
hits
quantum technology to create this?
I don't know how they're doing it. I assume that's probably the case, but they're so keep an eye out for names like Kyber and Dilithium. These are two different
brothers.
They grew up in Lehi, Utah. Their older brother is Lehi.
This is Kyber Samuel Hiram.
Yeah. This is Dilithium Johnson over here. He's my youngest. No, but they
probably is in Utah too. These
they probably
companies.
Are. But they are different types of encryption that are resistant to this stuff that they're starting to roll out right now. So these things are going to be big in the future. They're going to have to be. These are the future of encryption, right? So if you have services that offer upgrades to quantum safe sort of encryption, you might consider spending the extra money just in case.
Look into them and then probably spend the money.
Exactly. There are things you got to think about. And then if you have crypto, which a lot of us do, you've got to start using cold storage wallets. Get those devices need to stay offline.
Wallet in the freezer?
You keep it in the freezer right next to the peas. And you keep it disconnected from the internet. And then you can even take it a step further and put them in a Faraday pouch, right? All that stuff. That keeps you pretty safe. If the system is all down in the end, I don't know. But at least you have that. That's
the best you can do.
It's the best you can do. What else are you going to do? Keep it real cold in the freezer.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just your analog knowledge and your off-grid mindset are really going to help here, depending on what happens, because there could be just a full-on collapse of all systems, unfortunately. So hands-on, non-digital proficiencies like radio comms and maps and compasses, navigation, water and firecraft, basic electronics, tool maintenance, first aid, trauma care, food sourcing, all the things we talk about all the time are going to be so helpful.
Yeah.
If the quantum apocalypse hits us full force, right? And then just regularly practice
I feel like we're lucky enough to live in the time frame that we have.
Yeah.
Because we're like the end of Gen X and into millennial. Like, so we're kind of like geriatric millennials, what they call it. We know the old, and we kind of like the bridge between the two. I'm terrified for my kids.
Oh, I know.
Completely terrified.
Yeah, because I mean, yes and
like,
no. Yes
you
and
could
no.
teach them, and you need to. But these old skills, like we have them, or can still develop them.
Exactly. Anyways, those are some things you can think about, like quantum proofing your prepping a bit. You know, it's really just about resilience. Again,
ADT quantum proofed home.
Quantum proof windows. Yeah.
Your eyeballs can't be both inside and outside.
Superposition that, son of a bee.
I've been doing some superposition myself.
That position was super. You know what I like, baby.
It's called quantum.
Don't touch my qubits.
Don't
like
ask
that.
me how it works.
Yeah.
But other ways that you can protect yourself. So skills, jobs, there's different things you can learn about and look into and incorporate into your own daily work that can protect you from possibly being, let go because you're refusing to learn these things. Yeah. But also, like, and that's why I was kind of mentioning, like, for your family, for your kids and stuff, it's like maybe, inform them on some of this stuff so that they can learn and maybe take interest in being part of this whole up and coming future technology. So mindset tips, like develop mental resilience, like the reality hack anxiety, daily analog routines like journaling, maps, study the ground yourself. Like,
it's great.
Looking over that stuff. Understand the threat. That's the thing that like people are just like, I don't know what it means.
Well, that's what we're here about. That's what we're doing today.
That's exactly what this is.
We're just trying to understand what it is.
Not teaching you quantum mechanics and computing, because I'm just saying it's there. Yeah. Basics. Now we're talking about watch out for it.
People hear this stuff on the news, like my dad or somebody or my mom, like, well, what is it? I don't even understand what that is. Like, you're just getting right here today. You're getting a very basic.
You don't need to understand how the technology works, but how it's going to affect you.
How it's going to affect you. Yeah.
And then, practicing good digital hygiene today. I know we talked about how everything basically can be opened like a can of pop and just all of it dumped out.
Have a Pepsi.
Pepsi, exactly. Yeah. But if you're practicing those,
have a password.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're practicing good digital hygiene anyway, you're most likely to be caught up on like new and upcoming like strategies to protect your information.
We should start selling digital deodorant or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's both on and off.
Yeah, that's right.
And then regular offline backups. There's nothing like just taking like your photos and your digital information and storing it on a hard drive and taking it offline. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, like maybe that stuff will be all open and exposed anyways, but doing this anyway, the most likely is that stuff goes offline and not all of it gets taken and you're going to have a backup. Yeah. So I always try and back up like most of my stuff like regularly. I got off kind of schedule, but usually every 6 months or so I'll take like all my photos, all that stuff that's digital, all the information, calendar events and all that crap stored on a hard drive, and then I just put it in a drawer. So it's something to consider doing all the time. And then protecting yourself from a potential quantum apocalypse is primarily about being proactive with your digital security practices today, staying informed about the ongoing development in cryptography. Yeah. So best you can do.
Really is. And like the biggest thing to me about all this,
we're not trying to freak you all out.
No, we kind of are.
But I'm freaked out.
I'm freaked out. Yeah. Is like the financial resilience aspect of this, because that's the scariest part. Like you've got this hard-earned savings that you've been working for forever. You're building it up and you're putting it into crypto and you're putting it into stocks and you're putting it in a savings account. What if suddenly that thing is gone? And that's the scariest part of all this to me. And so there's things you can do to try and, mitigate that. None of this is great, but there are some things you can do. You can try diversifying your income. Just getting one paycheck from one system, from one place isn't always the best in these situations. So just having a diversified way of getting an income is great. I know it is what it is, but it's not a great piece of advice,
Side hustle.
but it is something. Hard assets, and I think that's
Did you just say?
yeah, put that in superposition. Hard assets. Don't touch my qubits.
I'm entangled.
I'm entangled now. My qubits are getting entangled down there. Okay. My assets are kind of hard.
Talk to me again about that superposition.
Yeah. Now I know what. Yeah. Never mind.
You're
Hard assets. And I'm talking about things that, like land, like precious metals. Long-term food storage.
Not digital land.
Not digital. Well, you can actually buy
probably
digital
can,
land.
yeah.
You really can. Long-term food storage, ammo. Sugar, sweets, alcohols, all that kind of stuff. The things that people are always going to need in the real world, tangible items, that hold value no matter what happens to your qubits.
Yeah.
Like they're still going to be good stuff. They're always great investments. And that's all I'm saying.
It's true. No.
They can't wipe
tangible
away your
goods.
land
No.
unless they come and bulldoze it or something. Even then, you just got a hole.
You can't go into your food storage and it's all gone.
Yeah.
What happened? How did it just disappear?
It's in superposition.
I
don't know.
It's in superposition in a million pieces above our heads.
It's Willy Wonka style.
Yeah.
So like when in doubt, you can ask yourself, can I touch it? Can I trade it? Can I eat it? If the answer is yes, that's the hard asset aspect of this, having those types of things.
Protected, yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is
The
protected.
stuff that doesn't have passwords on it. So, maybe to the room.
You could have a password into your room. I don't know.
True, that's true.
Like a secret knock or something like that.
Yeah.
That can be.
Crack this, Quantum.
Good luck.
It's too simple.
I had a shave and a haircut, you dummy. That was easy. So really the goal is to stay flexible. When one system crashes, you have something else at least somewhere standing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stay flexible if you're going to practice that superposition.
Yeah, stretch, baby. Stretch. Bunch of qubits in a hard asset getting all entangled down there.
It probably makes more sense now that we've
Probably
talked about
does,
it that way. But listen, today's podcast is brought to you by TacPack, the only tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use code Casual Preppers and get a free $70 machine-made part from Next Level Armament. Good.
I'm not prepared for the takeover.
Yeah. So, we've been talking about all these future events. Like, go back to the basic stuff.
Yes.
Episode 1 through, 12?
There was 12 of them.
Yep. But it talks about, like episode 5 in particular, energy systems and core survival pillars. Make sure and check those out because a lot of that stuff isn't going to be... It's preparing you for all of these things that we're talking about. It's like you're going to have your food, you're going to have your water, you're going to have your family, you're going to have your plan. Like all that stuff is what really matters in the end. Like
good friends.
all this stuff gets wiped out.
Matters.
Your finances are gone, and you can't buy food and water. Guess what? You already have stored. So, go back to the basics.
Bye.
Baby, go back to the basics.
Baby, go back. That's like another good song.
But
today. So Quantum's arrival is closer than most people realize, and this might even be the first time you've ever heard of quantum, and that's okay because it is what it is. Because it can come at any time.
I'm glad to have introduced you to it.
You're welcome. But let's do a listener challenge on this. Right? Look at
get your superposition on.
Show us what your superposition is. What digital dependency would leave you most vulnerable if it vanished tomorrow? Whatever that digital dependency is, make one concrete change this week to shore it up. Whatever it is, do it.
Yeah.
Okay? One thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be huge. Just one thing. One thing. Is it your MySpace profile?
Is it just communication?
Just communication?
Just your texting?
Just your texting? Yeah, there are more encrypted apps for texting if you want. You know what I mean? So those are some things you can do.
Yeah.
That's
like
all
that.
I
That's
got.
good.
I don't have anything else, Cam.
I don't either.
I'm quantumed out. My qubits are hard
My
assets
qubits are all off, even though they're in both positions.
They're all zeros.
Yep.
So, anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you've subscribed. Go follow us on all the socials. Go check out our other podcast. This podcast is a secret because you won't regret it. All right, stay survived.